Hold on, make sure y'all hit that. Jesus Christ, make sure y'all hit that. Jesus, Jesus gonna talk her butt off. So make sure y'all is the time going? No, not yet. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Um, in the driving car chronicles. Um, I wanted to talk about the Shannon Sharpe thing. Of course, that's a very extremely hot topic. It's an extremely hot topic. Something that hold on, she can stop talking. Um, it's extremely hot topic, and from a lot of different angles. Of course, I ain't got the kids with me now, so I could speak a little bit more freer than I could with the kids with the kids that I had yesterday. Um, so of course we know Shannon Sharpe stepped down, but I will say Shannon Sharpe showed up at the NFL thing with him and Ocho Cinco. He uh, showed up there. So he's not hiding in that sense. He said he'd be back at the start of the NFL preseason. Shannon Sharpe don't want to talk about baseball, no way. So that's kind of funny. He don't want to talk about baseball, no way. So preseason starts, I think, back in August. So I titled this video the way that I did on purpose. I just want to put my let me put this thing up here first. Send up the video. Let me do that. I just want to do one more thing. Bear with me 1 second, y'all. Hold up. I'm in the wrong account. I'm just trying to switch something real fast. Bear with me. And I also want to talk about this other subject that hold on, hold on, hold on. Bear with me. I'm coming, y'all. I also want to play this video. So it's a few things, right? Oh, wait, one more thing. Let me put this phone number in the chat in case people want to call in. Let me go to my channel. View channel. Go live. Put the phone number up here. Because there's also a video I want to show. And it's interesting how these titles, let me pin the number to the top. And it's interesting about the video I want to show because this ties into um sexual perversion being pushed on children, ties into why Kanye West is the way that he is. It ties into a lot of things. So I think this would be a really good show. Now, I am driving, so it just depends on the network. So if I get frozen, if y'all could just let me know. So what I want to highlight is a couple of things. Did y'all see when Chris Russo was on ESPN? This was a couple either yesterday, a couple of days ago, and he was about to talk about because I have in the title Shannon Sharpe steps down from ESPN. Is this issue a moral issue? Is this issue a race issue? Or is this an issue of what we heard, the things that we have heard that have transpired? What I mean by heard that have transpired is the way that they are talking to each other intimately, right? Because as I'm listening, so I've been on Clubhouse listening, I've been on Twitter listening, I've been everywhere listening, and I've heard a lot of interesting takes. So I want to offer one for a second. The one I want to offer is when I was listening to Chris, excuse me, so Chris Russo was on ESPN, and they start talking about Bill Belichick. Now, this is where the moral thing comes in it because a lot of people are getting on Shannon Sharpe because he's 56, she was 19 when they started dating, right? So now we can get the legal stuff out of the way because by legal, she was of legal age, so you can't argue that. But from a morality position, you got people saying that she's 19, she's too young, he's too old. Now, from a worldly perspective, I've heard rather, a lot of worldly men shut down this argument to worldly women and worldly men with this statement that I'm gonna say right here. So as they make the argument that Shannon Sharpe is 56, she's 19, do you know how they was killing the argument? It's crazy how they was killing it. Because I was going from I was saying how nobody says anything about older women that date younger men. That's the angle I was coming from. And I thought my angle was rock solid. I was on Clubhouse and I was on Twitter. And niggas in the world had a totally different aspect for it. And they was like, for all of y'all saying that this woman is too old, for y'all niggas that's in your 40s, but you're going to the strip clubs, those is not 40-year-old strippers. That was crazy work. That's what I mean when I say in the world, because I would never think like that because I don't go to strip clubs. So because I don't go to strip clubs, I'm not looking at this 40-year-old man in the strip club with these young girls. Because those ain't 40-year-old women you got, and they might be old women still stripping or something like that. But for the most part, those are younger women in the strip clubs. And he said, so all y'all old niggas still in the strip clubs, all you old women still in the strip clubs with these younger men, you got to look at it like that. So morality from the age perspective is really going to be an individual thing. That's what it's going to be. I got to pay this toll. How much is the toll? Hold on, I got to pay a toll, y'all. Bear with me 1 second. This is why I should get Easy Pass, but Easy Pass be crazy sometimes, but I should get Easy Pass. I have not been to a strip club in many years. You are a wise man, brother. Hold on. Man, you are a wise man. But so now that's the morality position that people are coming from. Oh, hold on. I think I got my Bluetooth on. I gotta cut my Bluetooth off. Y'all let me know. Give me a one if you can still hear me. Give me a one. So what was crazy word was that the guy from San Antonio called in crying like a bitch talking about Mexican. That was crazy work too. Ain't no denying it. That was crazy work too. 294 miles. All right, here we go. All right. So now I can put that down. So the morality part, I appreciate the one. So the morality part is really going to be what do you look at as too young or too old? Now, me, I'm 50 years old. This was the other part of the morality. Now I said this on Clubhouse. I said for somebody like me that's an Israelite, a 19-year-old woman wouldn't do any. I wouldn't want a 19-year-old woman at all because number one, you got to stay with them forever. That age gap, I think I would do damage to her life because I'm older. It's not about a kid's thing because of course men's sperm is going to work just fine, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with a 19-year-old. There's only, in the world, there's really only one thing you're doing with a young woman, and you feeling more invigorated, you feeling in full of life. Now, with that said, I'm not restricted to like, let's say if they were 25, 27, 30, or something like that now, in that age, and then it also depends on their maturity. So morality from an age perspective is really going to be dependent on the individuals, on the man's side or the woman's side. That's just being honest. So the age part, You can have your position on that. And you can call, anybody can call in. The number is 862-224-9027 if you got a question or comment on what we talking about, right? The other morality part. So is morality, let me look at the title. Let me look at the title. I want to make sure I cover all the bases. Let's see, hold on. So is it morality or white woman? White woman now. Here's what somebody said. Here's what a black guy said on I think it was Clubhouse. I was in intellectual gangbanging. Shout out to my man Lou Fax. Lou Fax is a brother I rock with. I follow him on Twitter. I met him on Clubhouse. I frequent his rooms on Clubhouse often. Hold on, look like we might have oh, they hung up. I think they hung up. Thought we had a phone call. So I frequent his room. So there was a brother talking in there, and he was like, when it comes to these teenagers, what he brought out was with the white woman, because when he was talking, he was talking like the white woman is a hoe. That's how he was talking. He was talking like the white woman is a hoe, and so somebody yelled out, "She's 19," and then of course everybody says she's 19, but she has an OnlyFans page, and we know white women, like, for some reason there's a sense of purity that's put on young white girls, but young black girls, they don't, the sense of purity is not put on young black girls like that, right? But white women are nasty. Young white girls, they're nasty. Young white girls. So he started giving examples of young white girls will give head and anal sex so that they can maintain their virginity. Now, I never heard of the anal sex before, but I remember I have heard that white women will give head to keep their purity of virginity. They looked at it like that wasn't sex because it was oral sex. And so he's talking about these things. And as he's talking about these things, as horrible as it sounds, because it is horrible to think about young, white or otherwise, it is horrible to think about young girls believing that as long as they perform other sexual acts that don't involve their vagina, then it's not sex. That is a horrible thought process. That is crazy. Bro, it's illegal to do a live stream and drive. I don't know why it's not. I'm just talking. I'm not using my phone at all. So, as far as I know, look it up for me. If you look it up and you say it's illegal, then I won't do it. But I'm hands-free, though. I think that's the most important part. Boy, a serious question. If I got bit. So, I think that when it comes, so from the white woman position, I think that statement goes back to morality. Here's where the white woman position comes up at. With the black man's obsession. The black man's obsession with the white woman, that's something that has to be studied. That's something that we really got to start breaking down. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Meshach Israel.
What's going on, brother? You got a question or comment?
Nah, it was just I just want you was talking about the Shannon Sharpe thing,
Yeah, I am.
and I just want to make a comment. It's about Ecclesiastes 1:15,
Go ahead.
and it's something before I got into the truth. It was I used to have sex with a lot of white women, and they really will fuck your spirit up because uh Captain Qatar, I'm sorry, I know I'm saying your name wrong.
Tazaryach.
Tazaryach.
Yeah, Tazaryach. And try not to use foul language if you could.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No
But
problem.
yeah, at one point, I stopped liking black women.
And
And I was like, what's going on? So it's like I just want to say, having sex with them, it'll really mess you up. So,
now,
and I
was it
had to stop doing that.
so? Are you saying that as you started dealing with white women, you stopped liking black women?
Well, I stopped almost being attracted to them. Like I stopped
So you said
not looking at them.
because you was dealing with the white women, the black woman was becoming less attractive.
Yeah, in
Okay.
a certain way. Not to say I wasn't attracted to him anymore, but it was like I wasn't like pursuing him like I was. So I had to like take myself away
Mm.
from those Edomite women, and then my attraction for them came back. You know, and they got back to a level playing field. So I just kind of want to make that comment. Like that's a real thing. Like
Right.
their spirits are like crooked. So and I
Definitely.
felt that in my life.
And if
So
I
I
can
just wanted to make that
expound
comment.
and if I can expound on it and be and I think what you're saying is such a heavy point because we don't realize what you become attracted to and you begin to love, you hate what they hate, even if you don't realize it. So because of and people don't want to accept that white people in general hate black people. So when you take on their spirit, and it's just like anything. If you get with any woman, right? So me and this brother are men, so we're talking from a relationship from a man to a woman. So if we get with any woman, their spirit is going to impart on you. It's natural. That's the whole point of like you becoming one flesh with your partner. So even if you were a black woman with the things that she into, you're gonna find yourself being into them, or she's gonna be into the things that you're gonna be into. It's a natural occurrence. So if you're dealing with a white woman, white women ain't into black women. They into white women. They into pushing their narrative, their agenda. And so you're gonna subconsciously start doing the same exact things. And so everything black's gonna become less attractive to you. And you're gonna be more into what they are into. Your fight is gonna be more for what they are into. So you making that point is proof positive because you actually lived the experience of what you're talking about, which makes the point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's all I wanted to say, Captain Zari.
I
I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
you, man. Love you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
So,
Love you too. You take it easy.
you too.
All right. Because he was gonna
All right.
get no sweat, brother. So what the caller just was talking about is exactly what I was gonna talk about as far as it has to be studied. Because you gotta think from a child, from you being raised up as a child, you believe white is better than black. As a child. Even if you don't recognize it. As a child, you believe that. As a child, you believe that from that doll test, from what you see on the windows, even like black cat is bad luck, there's such thing as a white lie. The white lie is a lie that's not really a lie, it's a white lie. The black lie, the black cat. Everything black is darkness. Everything black is ugly. Everything white is good. And that's what we don't realize. We don't realize that when you picking a white woman, or if a sister is picking a white man, you're picking that person from mental oppression. You're not picking that person because you believe that there's genuine love there, or that you believe that you're colorblind. You're picking that person because of years of oppression. You have resented and hated black, and you believe that your life experience is gonna be better if it's with a white person. But you can't, like, we gotta stop using, like, black people and white people really gotta stop using the whole, she tricking you for your money. Because a black woman, like that black woman that lied on that wide receiver from Kansas City Chiefs, because he caught her cheating, she lied and got him locked up. Now, more white women are famously known for getting black men locked up for it too. But black women do that also. But when you think about how we think white is beautiful and black is ugly, that's a real mental thing. And you got to think about the things that they were texting each other. BDSM is one thing. I want to have your big black baby. This is a 19, 20-year-old woman, 19 to 20-year-old white woman, comfortable saying, I'm going to have your big black baby. And Shannon Sharpe gets off as a kink with that. How do you know that Shannon Sharpe gets off with a kink with that? Because Shannon Sharpe says, I ought to choke you out in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman. Even his talk, even the way he talks to her,
lets you know that's his kink. And he don't even realize, like Truth says, house slave. He don't even realize he wants to be a slave. He wants to be the buck that's broke. That's what Shannon Sharpe wants. Shannon Sharpe wants to be treated like a slave, and he can't be treated like a slave with a black woman. With a black woman, he's going through slavery, he's going through oppression together. As a slave, being treated like a slave, he's getting the advantage of the oppression. And that's the crazy part. The crazy part is being used for your rod makes you feel freer as a slave. That's the mentality that Shannon Sharpe has. And that's what has to be studied. Even like people might not like that even Umar Johnson, calling himself the King Kong of consciousness, is why he's not the threat that even he thinks he is to white America. Tell y'all that I love. Umar Johnson is not the threat that he thinks he is to America. First of all, Umar, for the most part, is a one-man army. And once you say you're the King Kong of anything to white people, oh, that's a nigga. That's a nigga right there. Because what real conscious black man would ever reference himself as a gorilla, knowing that the gorilla concept was created specifically for black people? Let that sizzle in your spirit. And I like Umar Johnson. I hate King Kong of consciousness. That shit makes no sense. He doesn't even empower black men. Y'all think that Umar Johnson empowers black men, and Tommy, it's crazy that Tommy Sotomayor, who's looked at as a coon by everybody, and Umar Johnson is looked at as this great king by everybody, and Tommy has to point out the flaw in Umar shit. The flaw in Umar shit is Umar always talk about black queens, but when has he ever gave a mantra for black kings? Now, I don't agree in king and queens at all. Y'all know that. But when has he ever gave a mantra for black men? And the only time he's really said black men got to rally is when he got victimized by his baby mamas. Let that sizzle in your spirit. But white women is a plague to black men. White men are a plague to black women. They had this video of this white man that shot his black wife. Shot his black wife, unalived her, and I think they wanted manslaughter. They didn't get the whole manslaughter charge. And this is like the real wake-up call. And you know how much of a demon Shannon Sharpe had on him. You had Cat Williams tell him. You had Monique tell him. He had a whole dialogue with Donnell Rawlings. And at the same time, he doing the same shit. Y'all ever noticed that though? Like I was just talking to this woman yesterday, or maybe yesterday or this morning. I was talking to this woman about we was having a conversation about Pickmes. To this day, I'll never understand a woman mad at a pick-me. Because if the goal is to get picked, and you notice every woman that hates a pick-me is not picked. Let that sizzle in your spirit. Every woman, I wish I had moderators in here that actually knew how to moderate. I shouldn't have to drive and remove these people off the chat. I wish I had moderators in here that was actually moderating the shit, man. Anyway, I never understood how women are mad at other women for being picked. I got you, Emiliano. I'm gonna make you a mod right now. Done. A million. I just made you a mod, a million. Appreciate it. Because they got some people in this chat saying all type of stupid shit. And just to be fair, my moderators are usually on point when they in the room. They just not in here. So, like, pick-me's are getting picked. It's the ones that's complaining about the pick-me's. They the ones argumentative, single, got multiple kids, and still think they the prize. Meanwhile, the same women that might have multiple kids, but they are willing to say, I need to listen to my man, build my man, do all of that and stuff like that. They have no problem. And they get picked. Men pick those women. And so I think it becomes a thing that the women that complain about being picked, complain about being pick-me's, think that they can still be argumentative and they still want to get picked. And what they're not realizing,
processing. Please wait. Thank you.
And what they're not realizing is that, yeah, you can be pretty, you can be fine, but at some point, that mouth ain't as attractive. That mouth, that combativeness, loses its attraction. And at some point, you throw your hands up. Mika said, Captain Tazaryach said he is the prize. You damn right I'm the prize. Why you think I got all these wives? Because I'm the prize. Salakia. Huh? Still taking applications. So for all you sisters, if you want to get picked, all you got to do is just call me. Hey, man. What's that song I played? Call in and hit your camp leader and request me. There you go. Just request me. That's all. I'm going to make an oil call it requested. As soon as I get back. Matter of fact, I had placed the order on Sonorama. And when I placed the order on Sonorama, I did a test for a new oil. If that oil fire, I'm going to call it request me. To my man Jeremiah Judah in the chat, I said it would be either Friday or Saturday. So we could do the discussion sometime tomorrow. All right? I was just out of town, so I'll be back in town. All right? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Chris calling from Detroit.
What's up, Chris? You got a question or comment?
Yeah, I got two questions I want to ask. So, like, when you look at like the industry, right, for the last,
look at the internet,
the entertainment world.
The entertainment world. Okay, good.
Yeah, dealing with a lot of our black men in the entertainment world. Like, it seems like most of these black men, when they on their way up, that they use the same exact thing to bring them down. So, like, when you look at this, do you think it's like the agenda to bring down a black man with this same exact case that keeps just popping up and popping up and popping up? Like, how do you look at it?
I think that there's always an agenda, entertainment world, any world. In a world that black people live in, like, so much so that Deion Sanders' son didn't get drafted in the first round. And so you got people saying the agenda is to humble the Sanders family. That's how much we live in a country where we think an agenda is there, right? So it's not just an entertainment world thing. People at their jobs will say the agenda is we have to work 5-10 times harder to get in a position, supervisor position, manager position, lead position than what other nations have to be in. So an agenda is always there. Now, with that said, the problem is, why do we keep putting ourselves in a position for that agenda?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We have to realize that the position that we're in, no matter where we are at, if you're not keeping yourself, I would always say, and the truth I always say, if you're not keeping the law, statute, commandments, they'll always be able to victimize you or point something at you. and they're always looking for something to point something at you. Now with this,
Right, so
now with this thing with Shannon Sharpe, I don't know if it's an agenda with this one. This one is more so he put himself in that position. Like he, you know what I'm saying? Like ESPN didn't. There wasn't nothing where he was a rising star and they sick somebody on him. This is something where he chose a woman
okay, yeah,
and trusted a woman that
exactly.
that used him. Now, the white woman being an agenda, that's always the case. Now, if you want to say they put that white,
Yeah,
now if you want to say they put the white woman on him, I'm gonna say I'll never argue against that. I remember
right,
watching.
right.
I
Yeah, that's
remember.
my
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember watching Undercover Brother. They put that white woman on him, and what he do? He started eating mayonnaise and shit. He start, you know. Listen, he started eating the mayonnaise without the hot sauce, and said extra mayonnaise,
Right.
extra mayo on my shit. So I think a white woman is always an agenda to a black man. If we look at
Yeah,
historically, the white woman has always been against us, and we think that they're not. Matter of fact, when I played the video on my live stream last week with that dude, and he looked at the white woman and said, "You like black men more than you like white women." And she said, "I'm not answering that. No comment." And she's never going to answer that because she's never going to betray her people. She's always going to be for her people. So I think white women should be a red flag. The minute that a white woman is interested in a black man, that's supposed to be a red flag. And black men don't look at that. So because you put yourself, because here's how you know. When that wide receiver got caught up with that black woman, although she got him locked up, you don't hear nothing else about that. He still got his job. When it comes to
yeah.
getting caught up in anything with the white woman, white men are gonna fuck you over a million. Excuse my language. They're gonna f you over a million times harder because you did it to a white woman. Look at Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors now might be able to make a comeback after about 2 years of his whole career being put on hold. Who knows where this gonna go with Shannon Sharpe when this was a white whore. This was a white whore that had willing sex with him, BDSM, and ain't no telling if in those text messages, if it's role playing within the messages because of the nature of their relationship, but they can crucify him over that.
Yeah, this kind of remind me, with Kobe, the situation with Kobe years ago, how they tried to get him for the same thing, even though he did beat the case. Thank God that he beat the case.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like this been happening for too long. And like I remember how you always teach about, separation.
Right.
And like when we even go back to the 40s and 50s, how they used to talk about stop playing football and stop playing basketball for them and try to come up with our own league and separate ourselves, even with like the music and stuff.
Hold on one second. They say they can't. Okay, you good? You good now? Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was basically talking about the separation part.
Right.
That's what that like. Every time these situations happen, it makes me think like if we would have never integrated with them, would we even be dealing with all this stuff our people are dealing with? So I
No, well
always
that
think
part.
about how y'all will always
Yeah.
teach on the
So
separation part.
integration wouldn't stop this here because when we talking about integrating in what men like Shannon Sharpe is doing was happening even during segregation. Like Jack Johnson,
Mm.
the King Kong concept
Yeah.
that comes from
Mm-hmm.
Jack Johnson being obsessed with white women, and that's during Jim.
Right.
That's come. There's so, but it's so what we're talking about here. They should just leave them alone. Like let that white woman have whoever's, should let her go sleep with some Africans, man. Let her go sleep with some Arabs. Just leave black people alone. Because you never really, the crazy part when black people want to make us be with Africans and shit. They don't do Africans like this. I, I,
I was just telling, yeah, I was just
yeah,
telling somebody that not too long ago. Like when Africans come over here, They don't get treated the way
Yeah,
they
yeah.
treat us.
When's the last time you seen a white woman accuse an actual African man of this in America?
Yeah, when the last time you seen the police pull over an African and mistreat them? I ain't
Yeah,
never seen that.
yeah. I don't. I mean, so that you know that
So,
so that's far fetched. So I think those are the lessons that we supposed to learn from this. Like, but our sexual deviancy, because the other mental part is us looking up to the white man as greatness plays a part into why we want to sleep with them white women. We want to sleep with them white women. Hold on one second, caller. Caller, hold on. Like when you look at the white man, when you look at the white man as as the prize, you're gonna look at his white woman as the prize. You're gonna look at the white woman as the epitome of greatness because you're looking at the white man as the epitome of greatness. But was there anything else oh wait, before you go, when you brought up Kobe, the crazy part about the Kobe Bryant thing was they was crucified, and this is how the OnlyFans doesn't mean anything to white people. OnlyFans means something else. What I mean by this is her being on OnlyFans lets us know she's a hoe. That white woman with Kobe had other niggas semen on her. And it did not matter. They still was crucifying Kobe. Even though to us, once he found out the white woman had other people semen on her, we calling her a hoe. But the world is saying Kobe still was wrong for doing that to her. They don't look at her as a hoe. They look at her as innocent. Why? Because this is a black man that's doing this to a white woman. Period. And that's the difference is that black people will never understand when a white woman cries, them tears matter. Them tears matter. And they'll never understand it. So did you have anything else before I take the next call?
yeah, and I didn't want to take up too much time. I just had one question. Not too long ago, I was on a panel on TikTok Live debating with these Christians, and they was and the debate was Deuteronomy 28, and they was saying that the curses can't apply to us. The first point they tried to make was they said the curses have nothing to do with today. Then they tried to say that the curses only take place in the land of Israel. And the point I brought up was that can't be true because when you go to verse 46, it says the curses is going to be upon thy seed forever. Then it also talks about I, I didn't understand why they would say that. That don't make any sense.
Yeah, they don't. That don't
I
make.
just wanted,
That don't make no sense at all. The scriptures say
yeah,
the curse is gonna follow us everywhere. I
right.
don't. The fact that we getting scattered, it says that we're gonna about serving other gods. We're gonna be taken into Egypt to get with ships. That has to happen to endure the rest of the curses. Like I don't. That don't even make sense. But that's like always remember this, and this goes to everybody listening. Just because you got a YouTube channel, TikTok channel, Instagram channel, whatever, does not mean you know the Bible. Does not mean you're intelligent. Anybody can create that. Anybody. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, appreciate the call though, but
Hey,
I'm
no
gonna say
sweat,
why
brother.
appreciate it.
All right, no sweat. All right. My man B, you next.
Shalom, Adawan.
Hey, Shalom, what's going on?
Shalom, shalom. I got a question, though. What
Hold on,
is
wait,
the book of?
hold on
Go
one
ahead.
second. Hold on one second. Caller, hold on. Was you the one calling my iPhone?
Yeah, I think I had called the wrong number, but I
Yeah,
found the right number online.
yeah, no sweat. Hold on. All right, what book was you asking about?
The book of life. What is that, and what is it about? What is
You
it?
talking about in Revelations?
Come on, Adawan.
Yeah, the book of life is your works according to the law.
So they have a book specifically for me, like.
Your record, the way you live, and your judgment. Your life will be based on what you did in that life. That's the book of
Now
life.
let me ask you this: do I get a new book every lifetime, or am I in that book?
Yeah, you're in.
You
Now,
know, you know,
okay, so now this is a hypothesis. It's not because I like
okay.
as you're born again, you're judged for that life. So like when you're born, you're judged. You're born based on your previous life. And then what you do in that life will predicate the next life. So I would imagine this life, that's how you judge.
Okay. Yeah, that was just the only question I had, to be real.
All right, no sweat, brother. I appreciate the call.
I appreciate it.
All right. Oh, hold on 1 second now. All right, 513. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, brother? I'm Brother Coniel, man. I'm calling out of Austin, Texas.
All right, you got a question?
I just wanted to comment on the Shannon Sharpe thing, man. I really think this is a perfect opportunity for black men to learn a lesson. Because don't get me wrong, I don't think he sexually assaulted the woman at all. I think she lied, to be honest with you. But at the same time, this is what you deal with when you deal with the enemy. And I think brothers need to really start to pay attention to this, man. Like, and then on top of that, something else that I do want to look at real quick is the fact that the dude was like 56 and she was like 19. It's like, come on, man. Like, this ain't even the type of dude I could trust around my daughters, man. Like, and I think all of this need to be looked at. I don't think he sexually assaulted her, but I think he wrong.
He wrong from what?
He wrong even for dealing with a woman from that nation. Like people got to start to understand this.
Okay, so he is wrong. He is wrong for dealing with someone from that nation. Go ahead. What else is he wrong with?
I was just saying he's wrong for dealing with somebody from that nation. And then on top of that, the age limit thing, like the age limit thing, even though she was an adult, just me being a brother with young daughters, like, you got to look at it like, man, you can't even trust the dude around your 19-year-old. You know what I mean? So it's just like, none of this sits well with me. Like, the age. Go ahead.
Okay. Although I would never date a woman that young, she is legal. She's legal in biblical terms. She's legal in American terms. And I don't know if I would have a brother like that around my daughter, but then I don't hang with people in the world like that. So I get what you're saying as far as not trusting them, but I don't really I don't trust no man around. Meaning, like, I'm analyzing every brother that, like, especially if they're in the world. Now, if you're in the truth, it's different, because I know if you have an interest in my daughter, you're not gonna go behind my back to get with her. But in the world, I don't really trust anybody. I ain't trusting a 25-year-old around my daughter. You know, it all depends on her mental. You know what I mean? Like, if my 19-year-old daughter is intelligent enough, then I'll trust or not trust. So the age doesn't warrant whether I trust or don't trust a man around my daughter. I'm protecting my daughter regardless. So, you know, I just want
to let me expand on that just a little bit more. And I know you busy, Cap. I ain't gonna hold you too long. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, it's like the age difference. Like, let me explain what I think I heard when I listened to the call. When I listened to the call, I thought I heard the older dude. Like, how can I explain it? I know older couples, for instance. I got, you know, people that I know or whatever, and they'll talk shit to each other. Like, they'll never go through with the shit they talk, but they'll talk it to each other. They might be like, look, girl, you better show up.
Right.
You know, like, and I think more or less that's what Shannon was doing during that time period. I think he had got used to shit talking with her, and she flipped it on him. But that's something that a young person could do against an old person, and it ain't nothing that you can do.
Yeah, you know, they was together 19 to 21. So they was together 2 years. And he was comfortable enough to where he didn't think that she would betray him like that. And
that's what I'm trying to say.
He didn't see the Vic. He didn't see that he was a Vic. He thought he ain't looking at it. Like, and that's what old heads see. And this is the problem. The old heads, they the sugar daddies. And they think that they running game on the young girl. And they don't be knowing, like, in today's time, these young girls is running game on you. These young girls, like, you looking at them for vagina, they looking at you for the bag. And they gonna always think, how can I get the bag? And
I know I keep saying one more thing. I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go for real, Cap. Hey, the last thing I want to say about it, man, it's like, how can I put it, man? long story short, man, he ran himself into a corner, man. Like, and it's gonna be real hard to get out of it just because of the way it looked, and I hate that for him. But at the same time, I do feel like us as black people, we need to make sure don't no injustice happen to him as well.
Right.
Because even though he was wrong for the nation he dealt with and how young she was, in my opinion, I don't want to see that brother lose everything like this was completely his fault, because I do feel like he didn't have at the same time.
Now, this is not a legal case, so there's no jail or anything involved. The only thing that's really going to be hurt, though, is sponsorships, deals. Like, he already had to step down from ESPN, but he said he's coming back during the football season. We'll see how it goes. And again, a white man take a hit. I think he had $100 million contract like that. He definitely gonna take a hit. And I don't feel. But here's the thing, though.
It's there for that. It's there for that. Ain't
Wait,
none of them.
hold on, brother. And because I need to say this part. I don't feel sorry for him. I don't.
I don't either.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't feel sorry for him. He just had a conversation with Donnell Rawlings about dealing with a young girl. He said, as Donnell Rawlings is saying he want the young girl, he's saying why get with the mama? Why get with the young girl? So now he's looking like a hypocrite. Because how is you having this long drawn out conversation with Donnell Rawlings about him dealing with young girls, and then you deal with young girls? And he should have known better. He was warned by multiple people on the live stream. He was warned. So, and you can't feel sorry. You just gotta hope they learn the lesson. That's the only thing you can take. Shannon Sharpe gotta learn the lesson to leave white women alone and to move a lot better. Maybe him and Tracy Ross need to get with each other. Him and Tracy. Wait. Hold up. You know what's funny? I keep forgetting Tracy Ross. Tracy Ross, right too. I keep forgetting that's a white woman. So he can't get with Tracy Ross either. But I'm gonna get this next caller though, brother. I appreciate the call. I wanted to highlight. Hey, blessed to you too. I want to highlight before I bring the next brother on. Pickmes made a point too. Your daughter's maturity level is not based on your daughter and son's maturity level is not based on age, because you got some women and men that are mature at 16. Now, I'm not talking about whether they dealing with a man or not. That ain't what I'm talking. I'm only talking about maturity. The maturity.
In the era I grew up in, we was growing a lot earlier.
I got you, brother. I thought you was off the phone. I thought I was talking to my audience. So like.
My bad. I thought you was talking to me, or something. I wanted to cut you off.
No sweat, brother. I'll rap with you later.
Okay, come on.
All right, no sweat. Shalom. All right. Hold on 1 second, Anthony, before I bring you on. Maturity, like even Mika said in the chat, is a mental state. So you're gonna have, like, even as when kids are born and as they getting older, we had this thing in the black community, we call it an old soul, where we call you an old soul because even though they're young, they act older than their age. And then you can have somebody young, you have somebody old act immature. You can have 40-year-old men and women that are immature. So maturity has nothing that a father has over his daughters. Like, y'all see my little daughter and my older daughter, you have a father over them, that you have a father mentality that I don't look at daughters based on like their age or anything like that. I look at my daughters based on their maturity level. I'm looking at the maturity level to see if they intelligent or not, if they gonna fall for this nigga's lies, if they gonna fall for this white man's lies, they gonna fall for this job, how they gonna do in school. So you're not looking at that based on age. And you do it with your sons too. So you do that, period. Anthony, you there?
Yeah, Shalom.
Hey, Shalom, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, I just want a quick breakdown. I was talking to a brother earlier, and we talking about, spiritual and logical and bringing logic into the Bible and things like that.
Right.
So I brought up this verse, and I was asking him, so what do you think is the logic behind this? And I had my answer. I just wanted to make sure I had the proper breakdown.
Okay.
I'm coming from 2 Kings chapter 2, starting with verse 23.
Okay.
And it says, and he went up and was talking about Elisha, right? It says that he went up from thence unto Bethel. As he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And they came forth to tree bears out of the wood and tear 42 children of them.
Right.
Right. So I brought that up because he was asked about logic, and he goes to the church and he says like, well, God only looked at the heart. There is no logic in the Bible. It's about your heart and things. I'm like, there is logic because the law is logic, right?
Right.
So I brought up this situation because a lot of people look at this. I always throw this at pastors because they don't know what's going on here. They can't even see God doing something like this or a prophet of God doing something like this. They would look at this being wrong. I was like, but if I'm not mistaken, these children, they came from Israel, right?
Yeah.
Right. So they grew up knowing the law and they're mocking the prophet. Right. So they knew they was doing wrong and what they was doing wrong. So they would punish that right then and there for what they did. Where now we have the blood of Christ that gives us grace from our punishment. But back then there was no grace, and he had the power to rebuke them and to punish them at that point.
Yeah. Now that's one way to look at it. You're not wrong for that. And also, you want to make sure you teach that this is about don't disrespect your elders. That's also what this
Yeah,
is
and I
about.
brought that up too.
Yeah, you don't disrespect your elders, and disrespecting your elders, the Lord can punish you for that. And the Lord was right to punish them for that, for what they did, because they disrespected them, their elders. So those are the 2 points I would look at it. So yeah, that's a good point to bring out.
Right. And I think a lot of people look at God and like, oh, he's all about love. But then you bring up this and people like they put in the corner like they don't know how to break this down.
Of course they don't.
You know, and,
You know,
and
yeah,
it's just
because they like,
go ahead.
why would God do that? Because these is kids getting punished. Why would God punish these
Exactly.
kids? And they not understanding kids can get punished too for their disobedience. And that punishment,
Mm-hmm.
that punishment can bring about death.
Right. And I think this also goes into like in the New Testament where it's talking about like when they asked the man like why was born blind, and they was asking why was he blind? Was his father sinning, or did he sin in the past life or something like that?
Right.
And in that case, was that because of a sin of his past life, or was that his parents' sin
Yeah.
when he was born blind?
Right. No, that's a good point too. That he was punished when he was born. When you talk about as far as kids,
Well, in that sense, like when he was born, because I was trying to make a correlation with that as well. I brought up that.
what's the correlation again?
Well, I'm saying because he was born blind and he didn't even do anything.
He did do something.
You know. Well, so did he do something in his past life? Is what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yes. That's exactly. He
Okay.
did something in his past life. That's correct.
Okay. Okay. I was correct in saying
Yeah.
that.
That's
All right
correct.
then.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been getting to class and things as much as I can online
Most High
and things
Christ.
like that. I love the brotherhood classes. I think that's on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah. No, Tuesdays.
Tuesdays,
Yep.
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays is the
Okay,
brotherhood
y'all.
class.
So
Yep.
yeah, so I'm gonna try to get up there this Sabbath. I think they start at 12 o'clock out here in Delaware and things like that. Do y'all have a school in West Virginia?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Ask the brothers in Detroit. We might have a school in West Virginia, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right then.
All right.
I
That's
will.
right. All
All right. I
right.
appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem, brother. You take care.
Shalom. Peace.
Shalom. Peace. Hey, with that, man, I got to go in this rest stop. I got to get me a Starbucks. I got to get some gas so I can hit this road. So until next time, shalom.